To start off, I had never thought of that I would become an industrial designer. In my third year of engineering, I took up a night shift job as a cartoonist. We've been designing for clients across 20 countries.
How do you manage your time?
There's a concept of work and life balance, which I do not agree to.
If you want to just list down a couple of red flags when it comes to student work.
Flashy sketches, good renderings doesn't help. What is important is what is written in the email. And I'm sure in the future there will be also features where instead of me, the AI will reject the portfolio then and there.
Designers, have you ever looked at an everyday object, a multi-pin plug, an ice tray, a Kinder Joy toy, or a washing machine and thought, who would have designed these wonderful functional products and what would have been the thought process? Well, you are in luck because today we have Mr. Sandip Paul, who is an eminent industrial designer, 4-time TEDx speaker, winner of the prestigious Red Dot Award not once, twice, recipient of Designpreneur title from Mr. Narendra Modi himself, an editorial cartoonist and an author of I Didn't Say It, a book of humorous observations. He has designed more than 1,000 products for his clients worldwide and is the only Indian designer to be listed among the top 30 industrial designers globally by Designer New York. Mr. Paul redefines everyday objects to create innovative and iconic best-selling products. One of his designs in 2004 is estimated to have sold over 5,400 million copies and still counting. In this podcast, we try to decode his design process, his overall approach, his winning formulas and philosophies, and on top of that, he has explained some of his award-winning products and the approach behind it. So sit tight, watch till the end, and I promise you will not regret it. One small request guys, most of you watch these episodes and forget to like, share and subscribe. Please do that because it helps us a lot, and don't forget to mention the names of the designers you would want us to host in the next episodes of the Design Podcast. Let's begin.
Innovation by observation, that is your mantra when it comes to designing products. What is the story behind it and can you elaborate a little bit more?
Well, to start off, I had never thought of that I would become an industrial designer.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was pursuing my engineering, electrical engineering, and I was also very keen on having an alternate career in a creative path because I wasn't actually happy while I was studying engineering because I couldn't find a space to vent out or express my creativity. So in my third year of engineering, I took up a night shift job at a newspaper.
Wow.
And as a sub-editor. And I started my own pocket collar
Okay.
as a cartoonist.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Which year was this?
This was in 2000 or around 1998, 99, 2000. Yeah,
Okay.
in that year.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So I had been doing, writing short stories and making illustrations for my stories and cartoon for various newspapers since I was a kid in school. I started off in class 9. What it states from Kolkata.
Okay.
And so I'm saying this because as a cartoonist, I was very keen on observing my surroundings, everyday life, how people are behaving in their surroundings. And during those times, I was only making fun of the observations which I was seeing around me and converting them into a pocket collar, which used to run daily. One early morning, because it was night shift, it was like from 8 in the evening to 3:30 in the morning.
Wow. So after finishing your college,
Yes,
you would go there?
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So one early morning, I was getting back from office. And I noticed something very interesting. But probably would have seen many a times, but that day I think it struck me. But I saw people, these newspaper boys, actually rolling up the newspapers, packing in their bicycle, and going to various places and throwing it to different heights of buildings, apartments.
Right.
I felt this was a humongous task they're doing. Can we do something about it? No. I started thinking about it. but obviously there was no way to express it. Until one event which came across was Technodion. It is a college fest. Happens in central India, in Ramtek. It's an engineering college. And they have this pan-India contest, or like a design fest.
Tech fest.
Tech fest.
Yeah.
Tech fest.
Okay.
So there, I got to know about industrial design because they had a competition
Okay.
that you have to come up with an interesting idea.
Okay.
And I had then expressed this idea and made a rough prototype with waste material and all that stuff. And eventually, that won me my first design award.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the one.
Oh, it's written also 2000, right?
Yes.
Okay. And this time I'm guessing you'll be in your third year?
Yes.
Third year.
Third year.
Okay.
Third year. So that is how I got to know about industrial design. And I realized that my observations can actually be converted into product ideas.
Hmm. Okay.
And then I got to know about NID and fortunate to get through. And then I pursued my industrial MDes. At that time, it was called PGDPD.
PGDPD.
Yes. So postgraduate in product design. So I finished my electrical engineering and then pursued design. And that's how I became a designer. So since the inception, observation has been my key core competency. So probably because I'm inherently a cartoonist, so I have this observation going on 24/7. And most of my products, if not all, have stemmed out, the ideas have stemmed from just looking at things and how people are using them, what are the problems they are facing, if I can do something about it. So the cartoonist eye notices the problem and the engineer mind solves the problem.
Wow, that's a perfect balance which is required for a designer.
Absolutely. So that's the birth of the idea of innovation by observation.
Oh, okay. Actually, because you were taking us back in your childhood and all those things, I'm a little curious. So you said you have been always been that person who sketches from the beginning, like from your childhood. So when you were pursuing or when you were enjoying your creative process, sketching and all those things, why did you go into engineering? Like, because when you spoke about Kolkata, because the image is that Bengalis are very creative, they are very, they are into art and music and all those things. And whenever I have been to Kolkata, I have realized that over there, people will respect you more if you're following something into art or, creativity basically. So you didn't have that baggage. Okay, fine. If I follow art or culture, maybe I'm not doing something wrong. So did you think that you should go into art, or you were confused? Like, what was that thought process?
Well, the case was slightly different in my situation because I think most middle class families, they would want, I think till today, they would want their kids to become either doctors or engineers or in similar professions. And creativity, as you said, yes, is appreciated, but no one wants their kid to be an artist.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's the hard reality.
As
They
in-
they appreciate art.
Huh.
They take their kids to art museums, a lot of places to go and get exposed.
Right.
Which I was also exposed to a lot of art. But then when you feel that you want to be an artist, then you have to first, the only thing which most kids are told is that first become a engineer or a doctor, get yourself a graduation done, then do what you want to do in life. That's the irony of the situation. So I always wanted to be an artist. One of my friends in school was inclined towards fashion, so he became a fashion designer. He went to NIFT.
Okay.
It was a strictly no for me, that no, there's no point you're going to NIFT. So I had to pursue engineering, and that is why I was actually looking for avenues to express my creativity, which I was definitely not getting in my engineering studies.
Right.
So my story is more of a rebel. trying to break away from what was expected to be the norm. So yeah, so that's how I, But although I always, as I said, I kept the fire in me alive, and that's why I had taken up, writing short stories and illustrating them in newspapers in the guise of a hobby. But I was sure that I'm going to take it up seriously maybe sometime later. I was just waiting for the right moment.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing, and it's very inspiring to see, because the things didn't come to you very easily. That when you were doing engineering also, you kept on pursuing your art and avenues where you can express your creativity.
Yes.
And you said you were working in night shifts.
Yes.
And then you were working on your own products and things like that. So that's commendable. Okay, so now fast forward to today, you have designed more than 1,000 products,
Yes.
right? So, and the fascinating thing is, I was just going through the list of products and clients which are given in your website. The fascinating thing is, the range is quite crazy. From electrical appliances, a lot of various products, toys, and things like that. So, I'm just curious, even though you have designed so many products, which was that project which was your favorite or which challenged you the most? Do you have any such project?
Yes. I think over the years, I would say what used to be tough or really a rigor required has become much more easier because I have practiced it so much. But if I now look back, probably I wouldn't say the first, but in my initial years, I did create one product which wasn't part of a brief, not a regularly visible problem. See, I'll tell you the challenge is when you have a problem, you can solve it. When you don't see a problem, what do you solve?
Yeah.
Right? This is the story of the angular multiplug.
Okay.
That's the original sketch
Wow.
of the idea. I'll briefly tell you about that. Regular plugs used to be flat on the top, flat on the bottom, and flat on the front.
Right.
What nobody was noticing was that, but they were feeling a problem, was that the two-pin plug would get loose and fall off. It was a nagging problem,
Correct.
but a small one.
Yeah.
No company had thought of it. So I did a very simple thing. I tried to analyze that what was the reason of this. I realized that it is pure and simple gravity, due to which the two-pin plug is falling off because it's flat and you kind of plugging it in from the bottom. I gave a small angle of 40 degrees, just that, and it created a gravity lock.
Correct. Okay.
And I think that created a new category of products. So this category did not exist
Wow.
before.
Okay.
So the angular multiplug, today after 20 years, it is still one of the best sellers on Amazon apart from other platforms. You go to the category on Amazon, you'll find it number one.
Wow. Okay.
And because this was a pain point which was identified, it was a very subtle observation, not a very big problem, but a small problem identified and created a new product category. So I think this was something which it really took a lot of time to figure out what is that minimal thing that would create a bigger impact.
So I highly recommend you go and watch that episode of TEDx Talk, because Sir has explained it quite elaborately, how a simple observation and a problem which can be used as part of the solution itself.
Yes.
And I'm very happy that we have that product also. So, sir, I'll just hand it over to you and tell us how.
Yeah, I say this is what I was talking about. If you see, there's an angle. There's an angle of 40 degree.
Right.
So the plug now gets stuck it like this and doesn't fall off.
Correct.
It gets hinged like this.
Yeah.
And another interesting thing which I did was that this was a pretty new company back in 2004.
Okay.
And they were introducing something like a surge protector in this product.
Okay. What is it?
Surge protector is something which, like, through this, if you are using a device and there's a spike in the electricity, then this would get damaged, but your product will be safe.
Oh.
That's a surge protector.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here is that when a brand is new and they're coming up with some interesting technology, tech ideas also, how do you build a trust issue? There's an issue of creating trust.
And especially when it comes to electrical.
Exactly. So now how do you imbibe that trust through product design?
Ah.
So if you remember, all the plugs before this used to be opaque, all solid white,
True.
right?
Right.
So I introduced this translucent.
Ah.
So we can actually see the surge protector inside here.
Okay. Wonderful.
But then the initial idea was not orange.
Okay.
It was clear transparent. But then I felt that it will be too scary for someone to see the actual electronic part and all that stuff.
Correct.
And it wouldn't look good. So that's the reason why I made it translucent and introduced orange. I'll come to the color part later. But the translucency effect hit the most of the part, but it made the surge protector visible. This is how you create a trust factor in the consumer's mind that, okay, now you can see what they're claiming on the front is actually also there inside.
And the design itself is showcasing that.
Exactly.
Very subtly. It's not like shouting that, okay, I am a like protector over there, but it is kind of very beautiful it's showing, because that color is also adding some sort of, unique and fresh appeal to those boring rectangular things.
Exactly. And that was the reason why I chose this color, so that we could actually, create this attractive point of sale. Because they started then selling on retail outlets where these were actually highlighted. And the color was the attraction point. And then you could see, because without using this, you won't find the advantage of this angle.
Right, yeah.
So for it is like it has to attract you. So there are a lot of layers into it, but it's a very simple product, and I think.
Actually, when it comes to electrical products, it always excites me, because it's usually very ignored sort of area, but it's highly functional, and the problems related to it, it's very nagging, as you said before, because I deal with my own setup and things like that, and wires and these kind of things, they always annoy me if they are not doing the function rightly.
Right.
So actually, whenever I get a chance to meet and interact students, I always tell them that designs need not to be very complicated. Like, it should be like, it can be very simple also, it can be very effective also, it can solve problems. And I think this is just the perfect example of that. Lens, not trying to be very complicated, not shouting a lot with the design, simple, sophisticated, and as you said,
It's a bestseller. So at the end of the day, it has to make money for the manufacturer.
yeah, perfect. So, sir, because we were talking about your TED Talk, in one of the TED Talks, you also talked about incremental innovation, right? And there, I want to ask you, like, when you're dealing with, these kind of innovative products, how do you balance the innovation part without without making it very complicated? Like, what was the story behind it? What was the thought behind it?
See, I think the easiest way to solve a problem is to complicate it.
Sorry, can
The
you?
easiest way to solve the problem is to complicate it.
Oh, okay.
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 What I mean to say is that the more simple the solution is, the more complex is the process.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
I'll give you an example of an ice tray. We all have faced this problem of twisting and turning
Yeah.
the tray to bring out the ice.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you've also seen to what extent people have overcomplicated the process of taking out ice. Just open your freezer door, you'll find a rotatable mechanism just to take out the ice.
Correct.
Right? We were working on this project with me, Suhasini, my co-designer and wife, Suhasini. We were both working on this project. And we were given a chance to design an ice tray.
Okay.
What we did was that instead of designing the ice tray, we took a step back. In most of the projects, we do this. We started questioning that what is the problem and can we solve it? And the technique which we apply is voluntary simplicity.
Okay.
Is that we're going to choose the most simplest solution and the most effective. Whatever complex or rigor we have to go through does not have to show through the product.
Oh, very interesting. Okay.
Okay. So what we realized that the cube was getting stuck because it is a cube. Ice, when water freezes into ice, it expands and gets stuck on the walls of the ice tray.
Correct.
And that's why it gets stuck.
Right.
So what we did was that we changed the shape of the ice itself.
Okay.
We made it drop shaped,
Okay.
hemispherical
Uh-huh.
on the bottom. And so what, simple physics, now what's happening when the water is actually freezing into ice, the hemisphere pops up about an mm or 2 from the tray
Wow.
and becomes loose. So you can easily scoop it out. And it looks beautiful. And you've changed the shape of the ice and created a ice tray which I think you'll enjoy both the ice as well as the tray.
Like the previous product, we also have this product here as well. So, sir, can you please show the innovation which you were talking about?
Yes. So this is the tray I was talking about,
Mm.
and it's straight out of the freezer. Now, without twisting and turning, I'm going to just pull out the ice for you.
Wow. So, no twisting and all that complicated procedure is not
Yes.
required.
You can just pull it out.
Oh, and it doesn't even stuck to the wall.
That's the beauty of this simple physics.
Wow.
It is exerting pressure at one point, and it is now popping out by itself.
Very innovative.
So
I must-
you've got an interesting looking, ice, and comfortably usable ice tray as well.
Yeah, actually, no, it looks different. It looks very interesting. That's something which is very fresh and all.
Yes.
Amazing.
And the beauty of this is that this USP has been added without any extra additional cost to the product.
Wow. Okay.
So without adding any extra cost, it's the same tool cost to create a ice tray. It's the same material required to create an ice tray, and it has a new USP without any additional burden of an input cost.
Very interesting. And I must say that all these products, they look so simple, but as you said, that complication which you have gone through
Is not visible in the product.
is not visible, and that is, I think that also adds to the experience, because while using, customer need not to be worried about the design innovation and all those parts.
Exactly. I'll tell you what happens is that a lot of times people approach me with a technology idea, and they want me to help them build the product.
Okay.
The first thing I tell them that you might have created a wonderful technology. The user is not interested in your technology. They are interested in the benefit of the technology. They need not see how complex way the circuitry is or the mechanisms are. They want the benefit of it. So give them just the benefit of it. And you take let the hard work go in the backstage.
So it's like going to a restaurant and you are having this wonderful, delicious dish, and then the chef is coming and telling, "Itna dhaniya dala,
Exactly.
It will be very annoying. So makes sense. Okay. Now, sir, in addition to, in the same context, I want to ask you that because you have designed products which span across various industries, I am very curious to understand how your design approach changes from product to product. Because it's not like, for example, in my case, I am a motorcycle designer. So in my case, most of the time the product is same. But in your case, today you are designing an appliance, tomorrow you are designing something completely different. So how does your design approach change project to project?
Probably you'll be surprised to know the approach remains the same.
Okay.
It's only the product which is different I'm working on.
So what is the approach?
The approach is to see things as they are
Okay.
without any bias, without expecting how it should have been. Just see things how they are in the context. If you can see things in the context and not in isolation, then you'll be in a better position to understand what can be done to improve that context.
Okay.
I'll give you a small example. a very interesting brief from the marketing team of LG Electronics. We were to design a wall mount LED TV. Back in 2012, LED TVs going up on the wall was something, a thing of pride. Before that, we had those huge, large CRT TVs. Right.
Right.
Now, the brief was very interesting because they wanted us to design a India-specific LED TV. How do you make a product, a universal product? A television is a universal product. How do you make it India-specific? Do I add some paisley patterns onto it? Do I add some, red burgundy color? How do I make it Indian? What I felt was that I always believe that what makes a product contextual is how it is being used in the context, in the Indian context. Right? So, what I observed was that people were actually having the television on the wall and they were not aware where the stand is.
Okay.
They were not aware of where the stand was. Upon inquiry, some said that probably it is there in the packing box. Some said probably just throw it away, we don't need it. In some houses, I saw glass shelves beneath those televisions where they were keeping DTH boxes and remotes. To try to understand, when we had the CRT television, it required to have a furniture piece below it. Right?
Right.
Now you have it on the wall, so you don't need that furniture piece. Where do you keep your DTH box?
Okay.
Okay. Simultaneously, the observation that the stand was given by the company but had no use to the end user. Right? So I was stuck with an idea that can I convert the stand into a shelf?
Interesting. Okay.
It took me around 6 months to figure out the mechanism of the neck, of the stock actually of the television. And then I devised a way to convert the stand into a shelf. So once you buy the product, you can keep it on some table or where you want to, because it normally takes 1 or 2 days for the guy to come and fix it up on your wall. Till the time if you want to still watch it, you can keep it somewhere. So once it is on the wall, the stand is no more a waste. It twists and becomes a shelf for your DTH work and your remote. So this is contextual innovation. So one has to be very, very aware of the context in which you are designing. So if you were to design something, you just can't pick up that product and think of it in isolation. You have to think how it works in the context. And then find an idea, and you will come up with very interesting ideas. And most of the people would say, why did I think of it?
Very interesting. Like the more you are talking about it, I can understand that your approach is very different from, I think, most of the students or people I meet from product design industry, because they usually start on paper. But I can clearly see that you first try to understand the context, the ecosystem, the entire environment where it is going to get used and all those things.
Yes.
And that leads to the sort of direction in which you want to take the product ahead.
Yes.
And I must say the TV, when you are explaining that, I have seen those TVs very commonly in most of the hotels wherever I stay.
Yes.
Because they don't want to keep that, big furniture below the TV.
Exactly.
And that is very convenient. I can clearly see that, okay, it is meant for DTH box. And actually, I used to often wonder that was an additional part which was fixed on the wall. But now I think it was part of the TV only.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. So
I only come to the pen and paper when I'm very clear of what I'm actually going to do. Because when I hit the paper, I have only one thing in mind. The cost of the product lies at the tip of the pencil. So when I'm starting actually creating the design idea or doodling it, I'm already sure that what I'm going to create. What I'm trying to figure out through my sketches is actually how do I minimize the cost impact of that idea.
But the idea is clear.
Idea is very clear.
Okay.
Because I've seen that in the context. So I visualize the idea in the context
Hmm.
and I sketch it to make it feasible. So sometimes people ask me that how long do you take to create an idea? Or I think it's matter of seconds or minutes to get the idea,
Hmm.
but it takes weeks, years to actually manifest that into a tangible product.
Hmm. True. Wow, very enlightening. And actually, I'm going to remember this contextual design, what you said. I think it's very enlightening and actually it makes a lot of sense because as a designer, as a enthusiast who always used to love sketching and all, it's a natural tendency to just go and start sketching and scribbling and all that. But I think you need to take a step back and then understand the context, and then that should lead to your sketching and designing and all those things. And as you said, the cost is very important for all these products.
Yes.
Amazing. Now, sir, let's rewind the tape little bit and let's go to those initial professional years of yours. After completing NID, I'm guessing 2004, I think you completed your NID,
Yes.
right? So you started your professional career from LG Electronics. So how was your experience back then as a professional designer over there, and what was that tipping moment where you decided that I want to start my own studio?
Well, I was very fortunate actually to get an opportunity to design products for LG Electronics. I was designing their washing machines. But still, it is available in the market. It's one of the best sellers. The top loading washing machine you see for LG Electronics, it's been designed by me to 6.
Wow.
So, I think apart from cell phones, I've designed most of the products for LG in India and in Seoul. So there was no question of feeling that okay, I'm not getting that exposure or the opportunity to create. I was enjoying the process and got to learn a lot from my Korean design partners.
Mm.
But then somewhere at the back of my mind, I felt that I don't want to design only these 5-6 products the entire career.
Mm.
I wanted to lay my hands on multiple products. I wanted to design various objects, and that was the point when I decided, okay, let me get myself started as an independent consultant. Suhasini had always been an independent consultant, so she gave me the boost to that. Okay, let's do it together. So in 2013, we thought, okay, let's jump into it and get going. And by God's grace, I think over the span of 20 years, we've been able to work in 121 product categories.
Crazy, it's just phenomenal work. But wasn't it scary? Because we often feel like, even I have a day job and all that, like oftentimes most of the designers have been, because of their creative flair and looking at the world of opportunities outside their 9 to 5 job, you often feel okay, you also should start something of your own and all. But it is always scary because uh, as glamorous as it seems, the starting a studio and all those things, it's equally challenging, right? So was it scary for you that you're leaving your 9 to 5 and then jumping into something which is completely unknown?
See, I'll tell you something. If you have to do something which you really love, that's the point when you should decide that, okay, you want to do it. It should not be because you do not like doing something and that is why you want to change. That should not be the case. I was thoroughly enjoying my career at LG. It wasn't that I was not satisfied there or I was feeling unhappy. It is not that. So never start with a thought that I'm not happy here. This will make me happier. It won't.
Interesting. Okay.
So only do it if you really want to experience new things and you want to challenge yourself.
Okay.
I think that's the only way to do it, and we have to all deal with uncertainty. I think that's what makes us designers.
Yeah.
Of all the professionals, I think designers are the most capable ones to handle uncertainty.
Actually, oftentimes we don't even know the solution when we are starting the project.
Exactly.
So I think it's a natural trait but amazing. And actually, it always inspires me, whenever I meet someone who has run studio for 20 plus years, it's very inspiring that, okay, there are things which can be done. And as you said, you were enjoying it a lot. I think that is something which is very impactful. I think that is going to be my takeaway from this podcast, because oftentimes people who start their own thing, it's out of frustration. That, okay, they are not enjoying something, they're frustrated, and that's why out of frustration they'll start something else, and then, as you said, they feel that, okay, this other thing is gonna make them happier.
Yes. Which will never happen.
It will never happen.
Yes. Yes.
But how was this journey, sir? Like, I'm just curious. Like, last 20 years, you said, uh, of course, it would have been enjoyable, and today, in hindsight, it's all good. But how was it? Like, initial days, was it very challenging, or it was smooth from the beginning itself?
I don't know if I can say that I was lucky, because my first project when I was a student was actually it got recognition from Sri Narendra Modi.
Wow.
He was the chief minister then,
Okay.
and
That's which year?
this is in 2004, 2005, 2004. Yeah.
Okay.
So that made me quite popular, because it was a lot of media attention. I got a lot of attention in the media because of a product which I had envisioned for the Indian Railway. It's a foldable toilet runner made out of paper, which, as we speak, is also part of the permanent collection at the Design Museum in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Wow. Okay.
So that was a very big impetus at the beginning of my career, which got me clients approaching me.
Okay.
So as I said, you could say that I was lucky. I never had to approach any company or any client for a project.
Understood.
It has always been, that they have approached me,
Hmm.
that, okay, because probably they would have felt that this guy can do something for us, can add value to a company or a brand.
Hmm.
And that's how, most of my projects have happened that way.
Wow.
So the challenge is only to keep the idea alive till it gets to the market. Nothing else. Nothing else I feel as a challenge. The only challenge is the idea which I've conceived, that has to pass through all the bottlenecks and has to reach the, consumer's hand. That's my only aim.
Very enlightening.
Yeah, so I was talking about that the media attention which I had, gathered while I was getting this award, Designpreneur award from Sri Narendra Modi ji. So one interesting story I would like to share with you is that I think I got the award on 15th Feb, and a month later I was to get married to Suhasini. So a lot of newspapers had actually covered this event, and the interesting thing was that we went there to buy the wedding ring, and to our surprise, we got a very huge discount on it, because the guy said, "We saw you on newspaper. You're from NID, so we're going to give you a discount." Oh, wow!
Wow.
That was a very memorable incident.
Yeah. That must have been a good start for your marriage also, no? Okay. Already good hints. So, now that we are talking about recognition and all, another big recognition for you was when you got recognized as top 30 designers by Designer New York. And you were the first Indian to get that recognition. So, how did that international recognition help you in your design career?
Well, I would say I'll take a step back from this, because the first international recognition was when I won the design award, Opus Design Award. It's a Japanese eyewear design award back in 2009. So that was probably the beginning of me trying to hone up the skills and the thought processes to be relevant in the international context.
Okay.
And I was very keen on applying for design awards and trying to get the best of the ideas out in the market, as well as in the trade, where people would start recognizing that, okay, this is the guy who can be approached for innovative ideas and projects like that. So I had started a self-initiated project, you could say. It was called a useful art,
Okay.
where I picked up everyday objects, really worked around them, and created ideas of unique form factors with unique USPs. And I had created around 30 such ideas. 2 of them have actually won the red dot. So, in a way, the international recognition was coming along the way through red dots and multiple other awards. I was also fortunate to be awarded by the president of Taiwan
Okay.
in the Lighttown Award in Taiwan, actually. So there were a lot of such things, but then definitely the being listed in the top 30 globally was something huge for me. And the immediate effect of it I could see was that the very next year, me and Swasni were invited by the city government of Moscow
Okay.
to spread awareness about design and design thinking and how are we actually designing in the Indian context.
Wow.
So definitely these kind of what do you call recognitions will definitely help you take your word further ahead. Your circle of influence would get larger and larger and larger.
And I'm sure it would have attracted a lot of international clients also for you, right?
Yes, like we've been designing for I think clients across 20 countries. Yes, it definitely these kind of recognitions, are adding up to your credibility. It helps, see, more than me, it helps the client to make a clear choice.
True, actually.
How do you cut the clutter? How do you get to that person who can actually help you? So I take it from that perspective.
Very true. So now, we talked about your design endeavors. Now, along with being an awesome designer, you are also an amazing cartoonist. And we, I think, touched a little bit upon that because you mentioned that you used to work in that newspaper agency and all. But you have, as a cartoonist, you have this amazing book called I Didn't Say It, Part 1 and Part 2. And I have these 2 books with me. So please tell us more about these books because I went through this and it was amazing. But I would like you to tell about these books.
Surely. Okay. Well, I didn't say it. Now, why do I call it I didn't say it? The reason is that none of the content in the book is imaginary. It is not imagination. It is pure observation.
Observations.
That is why I am not saying this. It is all that we are experiencing. And what I've tried to do is, over the years, I have been observing things and getting ideas out of those observations. So this is an attempt to actually capture those observations and make this book like a trigger for anyone who is wanting to create innovative ideas and products. So if you just flip through the book, you will find many such situations which will actually trigger your imagination to create a product solution or a system solution.
Wow.
So that was the idea behind this book, and I'm happy that it has got a lot of recognition. It has also won the Literary Award 2025.
Oh,
And it has reached most of the libraries. It is at the library in NID, Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, Bangalore, many other places, IITs, lot of other design institutes, MIT, also some, I would say, management institutes like Narsimunji. So a lot of people are appreciating this unique approach to innovation through, illustrations. And so it's humor, it's layered, I would say. In first glance, it's pure humor. At a second glance, it is more reflective in nature. And if you are a designer in particular, you will find this as a trigger for your imagination. So I'm doing a series of this. So lucky that this got good recognition. So I've also released the volume 2, and I hope to create many more such.
It's certainly a nice coffee table book collection, because it's a nice icebreaker in its own way. right? When you are sitting with your group of friends or family members,
Yes.
and when you are just flipping through it, because the best part is you don't need to start from the beginning and go page by page.
Yes.
You can just flip through any page and you will have a interesting observation over there, and it can just be a nice icebreaker.
Absolutely. And the interesting part of this is that I'm told a 8-year-old looks at it in a different way, and an 8-year-old looks at it in a different way. For an 8-year-old, he's in awe that okay, these things happen. For an 8-year-old, it is reflective and nostalgic. Oh, I've gone through this.
Yeah, relatability.
Yes. So it's definitely people are enjoying it,
Yeah.
and that fuels my passion to keep going at it. And yeah, so as I said,
But it's amazing. Actually, because I am getting to learn about so many things, how do you manage your time? Because you are designing products, you are writing books, you are giving talks, you are going to, multiple avenues to speak about design. How are you managing all these things?
well, there's a concept of work and life balance, which I do not agree to.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, life and work is intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not been able to differentiate when I'm at work and when I'm at play.
Okay.
So I used to say this, when I started off, it used to be the headline of my resume. It said, I don't work, I only play.
Mm.
So I never felt that, I'm exhausted or I'm tired of doing something and how can I find time. I'm always energetic in whatever ways to express the ideas and talk about ideas. And yeah, so that keeps me going.
Actually, no. Like if you are able to crack that if you are able to keep your work as a play, I think you never will feel a need for retirement, right? Today, we are kind of, like everywhere we are seeing AI is taking over things and, automation, blah, blah, blah. So, what is your opinion about, or what do you foresee how this industrial design landscape is going to change with the innovation of AI and automation?
So I think every stage there will be new tools. We need not worry about the tools or get sense of fear that okay, it might replace me. It will replace you for sure if you do not have skills apart from these software skills. Your thinking ability cannot be replaced. But your other skills, I always say that some people ask me that okay, which softwares should we focus on? I always say base cells. Work on your base cells. Other softwares will keep updating every 6 months or every 2 months. With AI, I think it's every week.
Yeah, every day I would say something or else is coming. But I think what you are saying, even I feel the same, that the human intervention or that human part of designing, I think that will not be able to replace by AI.
See, I think what I feel at this point, lot of data can be analyzed through AI. Okay. You can figure out why something worked and why something didn't work. But that will not guarantee that that approach will work the next time. That I think intuition. Until AI brings in the intuition factor and the emotional factor into it, like I always talk about empathy. That's a very, very hardcore human element. Without it, we designers will be replaced. So I think that factor, as designers, we need to hold on to it and master the art of observing people, feeling empathetic, and finding the right solution. Because I always say that the genuine needs are seldom spelt; they're often felt.
Interesting.
So you have to have that ability to feel those things. So as long as you are alive with these kind of emotions that you can feel and convey these emotions through your products, with the current AI situation, you are hard to replace.
Very interesting. Now that we spoke about most of the things, I have two questions from the point of view of students, because most of our audience is aspiring designers or future designers basically. and I'm pretty sure you will be approached by students and they'll be showing you their work and portfolios. If you want to just list down a couple of red flags and green flags when it comes to student work or portfolios, what would those be?
I think even before you reach out and click the link of the portfolio, what is important is what is written in the email.
Okay.
So that's the first screening point
Hmm.
where I have seen very interesting that earlier I used to receive emails with very genuine intentions,
Hmm.
but of late they have become so generic. It seems like everyone else is just doing ChatGPT and sending you a generic email, expecting that you're going to open that email and see the work inside.
Hmm.
So if the first glance is showcasing that it's not genuine or authentic,
Hmm.
I wouldn't take the time and effort to even go and look at the portfolio.
You know, even in the mail itself, there is an AI feature now.
Exactly.
You can just, like, based on the content which you want, it can give you a proper formal email ready for you.
And I'm sure in the future there will be also features where instead of me, the AI will reject the portfolio then and there.
That would be interesting, actually. But can you give some example, like, when somebody approach, like you said, genuine and authenticity when it comes to email. Uh, what would make you feel that, okay, these particular lines or mails are not genuine?
First, if you're genuinely interested,
Hmm.
please don't try to impress me.
Okay.
You know, because what is important is that not how you make me feel about you.
Hmm.
What is important, do I see a genuine effort being put into solving a problem or creating something which someone else is not doing?
Hmm.
Flashy sketches, good renderings doesn't help.
Hmm. I think that's one problem, no? Like most of the students, they focus too much on the visualization factor, like making the portfolio look very attractive and beautiful.
Exactly.
But the concept and the idea will be very lost.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
actually, even we are seeing that problem when it comes to portfolios. So yeah, that is one very valid point. Okay, what can be other green flags? Like, you saw something and you're like, okay, fine, this guy is solid. I wanna get him, like, no matter how, but I wanna get him to my studio.
Well, actually, most of our projects are actually handled by me and Suhasini.
Hmm.
So we look at this aspect from design engineering and tooling point of view.
Okay.
So we do not actually engage designers for the projects,
Hmm.
but we engage creative engineers
Okay.
who then translate, the technicalities into the manufacturability and the tooling issues and discuss this with them. And many times they are at the client's end.
Hmm.
So they're part of the client's team as well.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that designers like these normally work on our projects because that's why the clients are approaching us to have our approach in the project, and we choose and pick the projects where we really feel we can add value.
Hmm. Very interesting. And I think what you spoke about, manufacturability and engineering part of it, I think at the end of the day, if a sketch is not able to, get into that realistic, visible manner into the real world, I think there is no point of your sketch. So I think that understanding of manufacturing and engineering and how it's going to get tooled up eventually in mass production, I think that understanding is very important.
Exactly. You can create high quality renders. You can create 3D in AI, but till date, I would only talk about. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future. But the data which is created, AI generated, is not manufacturable. For that, you have to know the manufacturability, the know-how of manufacturing. So what is important is that you focus only on getting your product out in the market.
Okay.
It could be as small as a small device or a pen or a stationary product. It could be anything, but you have to focus on getting the product out in the market because that process will teach you a lot of non-glamorous things which you have to go through in the design profession.
Mm.
One thing which we've been doing for a couple of years now is that although we do not offer internships, where, as I said, it's mostly me and Swasi, we are working directly on the project, the creative part, and we get the engineers and tool makers for the manifestation of that. But then what we have done is that, yes, if we find a very genuine, student or young professional interested to learn about the nuances of how to get ideas into reality, I do offer, very selective, do offer mentorship. It's around 4 to 6 weeks mentorship where I actually take them through the entire process of how do you find a problem to solve and then you solve it.
Very interesting, and I think very much required also in today's time, because in colleges you don't get that industry exposure and that kind of mentorship, because they are always in that cocoon of their own. I think this kind of mentorship will help students a lot. So
Yeah, because I realized this because in the first couple of mentorships, the students were expecting I would tell them what to do. I said, no, it doesn't start there. It starts much before that, where you want to learn how to identify, and that's where the innovation by observation, the technique which I take them through, that how to actually look at situations, identify a problem, and then I'll take you through the process of converting that idea into a manufacturable product till you create an intellectual property. We also help, then get that design patent or design registration done.
Very cool.
So because I feel this is what they need to learn.
Actually,
Instead of being an intern and just helping me out with some small bit, I think the mentorship actually has helped a lot of students to build their identity.
And this nobody teaches usually. So I think this is very much valuable. So students, take a note of that. Okay. Now the last question, sir. That because you have run a studio for last 20 years and a lot of aspirational, aspiring students, future designers, they are looking up to you. So if you have to give a very quick step-by-step roadmap, if somebody wants to start their own studio in today's time, what would be that roadmap according to you?
The first thing which one needs to understand is that when we are fresh out of college, because, I would say this is generic because I have also faced it myself. When you're straight out of college, you feel I'm next to God. I'm a designer. I'm going to change the world.
God complex.
And then you learn the hard way that you are only part of a bigger system where you need to learn to interact with other departments, the engineers, the marketeers, the sales guys, all these aspects you have to learn. So I think the better route, because it helped me, because I work with LG, I got a chance to interact with all these different various departments. So I would recommend first get yourself a decent job where you can learn and get the exposure of different things apart from design. You are going to design for the rest of your life. But what you need to learn is how to get your ideas across the table to the other stakeholders. Because you'll only become a successful designer if your product hits the market. And without the support of these other stakeholders, your product idea will never reach the market.
Very empowering.
So I think I don't know how it feels to start a design studio just fresh out of college because I haven't experienced that. But I felt my learning while working in the industry helped me gather these kind of non-designerly skill sets, which came in a lot of handy.
Very, very interesting. Actually, when you are talking, even I am thinking about my own industry, and when you are only worried about design, there are so many stakeholders which are needed to bring your product into the market.
Yes.
And we often tend to ignore them because we are always in that cocoon of design community. And as you said, many students have that God complex where they'll feel that they are going to change the world and all, but they don't understand there are other stakeholders also, and you have to work with them
To change the world.
to change the world. Okay, on that powerful note, sir, this has been pleasure. I didn't know how time flew. I think we were speaking for 1.5 hours now, but trust me, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I'm pretty sure students are gonna take so many takeaways from this. So thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for spending so much time on a Sunday.
No, no. As I said, it's my passion to be consumed in design and creative activity. Lovely talk to you, Saket, and I really thoroughly enjoyed. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
I
much.
hope this podcast reaches to all the design aspirants and designers, young designers, and I hope I've been able to
Yeah, certainly. Whatever you spoke. In fact, I am going to be taking a lot of things from this podcast. So I'm pretty sure for aspiring designers, there are going to be so many more. So on that note, thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thank you.